So it's like, I think it's something that's true for both sides, not necessarily something that's true only for the people that have mainstream ideas.
Well, yeah, but there's a difference is that the blue sky is a tangibly accessible common experience, right?
No, I'm
So
not.
it's not,
My point isn't about the validity of my statement. My point is about how people form ideas and how that, like, even if you're someone that doesn't believe in mainstream ideas, you're still getting your ideas in the same way as someone that has mainstream ideas would, right? Because you're still looking up to an authority figure for your ideas. Do you get my
yeah,
point?
to a degree.
You
To a
see what
degree, but when it comes to kids, a lot of what they learn about is there's like stages of development where their mind and their brain are working together to give them certain informations. At that point in their developmental stages, they could be imprinted with a falsehood. And it's not so much that that person they see as an authority, it's that there's just this natural inclination to believe. They don't even understand the concept of authority. Their mind just does it
yeah,
naturally.
yeah, no, fair, yeah, but that's not really in opposition to my point or anything. I mean, yeah, that's not, yeah.
Right, but there'd be a big difference between telling a kid about something that's outside of their common experience, like the Earth being a globe, which a kid has no way to understand that, right, as an experiential level, versus telling the kid that the sky is blue and your sneakers are blue. It's like they can clearly see the blue is on both objects. Like it's natural to make that conclusion. And for the parent to say the sky is blue, the sneakers are blue, but the sky isn't blue because I said so, like that would be a big difference, wouldn't it?
No, my point isn't related to like the shape of the earth at all. Like it has nothing to do with that. It's just like a general observation I have. Like yes, okay, sure. If you want to talk about about this in the context of the shape of the earth, sure. Yes, people that believe the earth is round do look up to an authority figure and then just accept that idea. But at the same time, people that believe the earth is flat or whatever, any other shape or model or whatever you want to call it, they also in turn look at someone with a bit of authority in that community and then accept their ideas. Like, yes, the
No,
only
I mean, yes and no. They don't accept it simply
they
because the
no, they don't
person
accept
has
it.
a
No,
perceived authority. They accept it because they look at the evidence and the reasoning, and then they see that
yeah.
the conclusion makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, it's pretty much the same thing. Like, yes, someone is just making a more convincing case for you, but there's still someone in a position of
No,
authority.
but the thing is they never made a convincing case to the children. They just told them this is the reality you live in. This is the truth.
And that's convincing enough. Because, like, what do you mean? That's a convincing case. Being convincing doesn't really have any relation to the truth of the matter. Being convincing is just like literally that. Like they're convincing, sure. They're really, yeah, they're forcing their ideas, sure. They're just saying something is true and they're without really justifying it, sure. But that in turn is convincing. And that is why people believe it. It doesn't mean like it doesn't really make any
Yeah, well,
difference.
it's like does anybody ever convince a child to use their mother tongue? So if you're raised, in an English speaking household, at a certain time in your stage of life, you're going to start speaking English. Like you're not actually taught it; you just naturally learn it from being exposed to the tokens, and your mind already puts it into where it needs to go. So like nobody's convincing you; it just happens.
I, I think that's quite different. Uh, Seeing how you wouldn't really have any other options in regards to your mother tongue. Like if you're like if your whole family speaks English, you wouldn't really be able to start speaking Spanish, would you?
Yeah, but
Right.
my
Same.
my
It's the same.
children watch TV and they know some bit of English as well. So even though they're taught their native language, by watching and observing information from the TV, they can understand and learn English words, you know?
Okay, I think
So I agree with Ardent, like nobody's teaching them English, they just absorb the information and they just speak it.
mm, I think a language is very different from an idea. Like some the main way in which you communicate is definitely inherently different from like an idea, like from a scientific idea. Like those are two very different things. I don't know. I think we both probably agree on the same on what I'm saying. I think we just kind of got lost in the whole discussion, probably.
Yeah, it's fair, but see, the thing about children is they don't have primary access to any of that extra data or the idea of what science is or how it works or anything. They're just in an absorption mode, and they absorb certain truths about the nature of certain parts of their identity, and that's like who I am, who's my family, all these types of things, and the nature in which I live, my safe spaces, all these things. So by giving that quote unquote alleged facts to the kids at that point in their developmental cycle, it's imprinted as part of their identity. In fact, this is well known in psychological circles that children of that age, the young age, they imagine the world just as they see it, which is flat and stationary. And then they're told that it's not like they see it, it's contrary to their common experience. And then they have a conflict inside. And then they create in their mind a two model system where they recognize that the earth presents itself as flat and stationary. And then when they imagine the earth from the outside, they imagine it as a floating ball because they've been shown a bunch of fantasy images of it as a floating ball. And so they actually are having this dualistic a reality where one is their real common experience and one is pure fantasy.
Okay, sure, right. I don't really get your point. Like, yeah, okay, probably, right.
What I'm saying is they're intentionally taking advantage of children at their most vulnerable time to usurp these developmental stages and implant their ideas into their heads.
But I mean, you can't really not do that though, because that would just have children that aren't part of your society. Like that isn't, I don't know, the shape of the earth isn't the only thing we instill in children. Like there are a bunch of other stuff you tell children
I
just
agree.
they'll be part of your part like
Yeah,
functioning.
that's fair and all, but when you look at the media that children get, it is disproportionately focused on the cosmos and the ancient past, such as dinosaurs, etc. It's unbalanced in the amount of time they focus on making sure that they say globe, globe, globe a million times, that they say stars, that they say cosmos, that they say dinosaurs. We just look at kids stuff that you can buy.
So
Like a
what?
large portion of it is covered in dinosaurs or space propaganda. Like
Wait,
it's not even up for debate that that is what the majority of kids stuff is covered with.
right. Two questions for you. First, what would you want to see on TV? And second, do you not believe in dinosaurs?
It doesn't matter, dude, whether I
No,
believe in them or don't believe in them.
I'm
Why
just
is it
asking.
so important that kids, young kids who can't even think and understand time on that scale, have to be told dinosaurs, dinosaurs, dinosaurs?
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm asking then. What would you want a kid to see on TV then? Like, what would you want a kid to be shown?
Well, how about living animals that are actually alive that can be actually seen and touched and felt, and not fantasy animals?
Okay, okay. Besides
'Cause
that,
rest assured, all of the depictions of dinosaurs on they don't they're like they're constantly changing what the dinosaurs look like, what they were doing, when they lived. It's all fantasy. Like it's pure fiction, the majority of the stuff about dinosaurs, when you could really teach them about actual animals.
I mean, they do teach them about actual animals, though. Like, a big part of kindergarten education is literally just teaching kids animals. Like, I don't think I don't, I hope you guys remember kindergarten, and I think you guys do, but I
No,
don't
no,
care.
no. See, you're missing it. It's the damage of the exposure to dinosaurs in space has already been done before you even get to kindergarten, dude.
But what's so bad about learning about dinosaurs?
Dude, it's not per se that it's bad to learn about the concept of dinosaurs. That's not the point. The point is they're cementing in these kids' head a cosmological scale of time and creation, in that they're synergized together in this worldview. They're basically indoctrinating them with a worldview.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
about dinosaurs. It's not about space. It's about
No,
the
I get that.
worldview
No,
attached
I
to
get
it.
that. I get that, but first of all, if you were to like, I don't know, have your ideal way of raising a child, you would still be indoctrinating them in a way, because like raising a child is inherently indoctrinating them. Like when you're teaching them a language, you're technically indoctrinating them. You're teaching like that's the only thing that you could speak now. If when you're teaching your child what's left and what's right, that's technically indoctrination. You're making them assign to a part of their body a name and to the other part of their body another name. Like that's indoctrination. It's not an objective truth. It's something we use as a society to work better. We just work better when we both have a common left and a common right. But at the end of the day, it's something completely arbitrary that, and therefore it's inherently like indoctrination. Like education and like raising a child is inherently indoctrination. It's not bad to indoctrinate a kid because that's how you make them be able to like question their ideas at the end of the day. If they wouldn't have that basis of like what you call indoctrination, they wouldn't be able to question stuff. Like if you
Yeah,
don't,
yeah, exactly. So, right. So if kids aren't inundated with space and dinosaurs before they're in kindergarten, oh my goodness, society would fall apart. You're right.
no, I'm not saying that. That's really not my point. I don't think you understand my point. My point is, if you don't teach a kid about space and time, they and like dinosaurs or whatever, why would they ever have an interest to question that? Why would they ever even know about that? Like, why would they ever even think about that if you don't ever speak to them about it? Do you get my point? Like,
Right.
if
So then parents should tell their kids, hey, this is a bunch of mumbo jumbo that isn't actually scientifically proven at all. It's mostly fantasy and worldview and philosophy under the guise of science, which you're going to be taught is one of the most ultimate arbiters of truth. And then they're going to try to trick you into this worldview. And so you should be suspect about it because none of this is primarily accessible. And you'll notice that everything that you see about it is pure cartoons. Yeah, you're right. Maybe the parents should teach the kids that.
sure, I'm not necessarily saying that. I don't think you're getting my point. My point
I
is
am getting your point. Why is it the case that then why is it the case that if somebody says they want to homeschool their child and teach them flat earth and not teach them the quote unquote mainstream, why are they considered a pariah in society and that maybe there should be legal rules to prevent them from doing so?
because that's not the standard. Like, it's normal for that to
Who
happen.
cares? Who cares, dude? So if you just invent a standard, then you can impose it on parents and usurp their natural right to raise their own children.
Yeah, we have standards in general that people have to respect in order for us to work. You, for example, would be arrested if you didn't feed your kid because it's a standard to feed your kid. Like, that doesn't make it.
That's
No,
not
no,
a
no, no.
standard,
It's
that's
not a
a
standard
requirement.
to feed your kid. Holy crap.
Yeah.
It is
Holy
though.
crap.
It is though. It fits the definition of a standard. Why would that not be a standard? Yeah, okay, it's a standard because of very obvious reasons. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make it any less of a standard. Like it's still a standard in the semantic sense of a standard. Like yeah, okay, people need food. It's a very reasonable standard, but it's still a standard though.
Yeah, people need food. They don't need to imagine Uranus smells like farts and it's raining diamonds on Smegma Prime.
What? Is that what you were taught?
No, dude, that is literally the news that comes out all the time. They sent a
Really?
probe to Uranus, the planet, and they found out that it lets off a gas which smells like farts. Literally can't make this stuff up, dude.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. It's a gas giant. Sulfur. Sulfur smells
Yeah,
like
I
fart.
wouldn't be shocked if knowing any of that had any relevance to my daily life whatsoever, especially not some planet allegedly a trillion miles away that it rains diamonds on, which no one will ever be able to mine. It's like, who cares, dude? Stuff is so irrelevant, yet it's propped up as if it's somehow important.
I mean, yeah, a big part of science is that, I guess.
Yeah, a big part of science, falsely so called, is making a bunch of outlandish claims about things that they can never prove or make valuable to anything we ever are going to do in exchange for prestige and money. Yeah, I'd agree with you.
Science isn't paid that well. You'd be surprised. We're not paid that good in science. Like,
But hey, listen. Somebody in a field which is absolutely unproductive getting paid at all is too much.
you just called it prestigious and a waste of money, though.
No, I
Yeah,
said some people do get prestige from being a scientist. In fact, scientists are revered in society
we're
as
not.
being the upper echelons of sincerity and truth.
I don't know where that's happening, but no, we're not. I don't get paid literally. I get paid a shit. Like, I'm paid awful. Like, what do you mean we're revered?
Okay, okay, cool. What science? What type of science do you do?
I'm a chemist. I have a PhD in chemistry.
Okay, so what products do you make?
What do you mean? What products do I make?
Well, like in order to get paid well, you have to provide a good and service to somebody who's going to pay you for it, right?
Yeah, I do
So what
research.
do you make with your chemistry? Like, do you make
I do research.
chemicals? Do you make pills?
No, you don't. Yeah, okay, so research isn't just like making stuff. Like when you do research, it's way more niche than what you'd imagine it to be. Like it's not I make drugs or
Okay, yeah, I'd agree with you. So what you need to do, friend, is you need to start getting grant money to do research on exoplanet chemistry and trying to recreate the raining diamonds on planet Prime
yeah,
10,000, and then you could make a lot of money.
sure, cool.
So
No,
instead of actually doing real chemistry on the Earth that might get me a better polymer for my earphones that's microbial and won't actually scratch my ear and leave me a rash, you could pretend that you're doing science on another world.
I don't get if you're angry at science in general, chemists in general, or just people that like doing stuff about planets. I don't really know who you're angry at.
I don't know. See, your chemistry doing actual research in real chemicals is something real that should actually be remunerated with reward.
Thanks.
Versus other dudes who are pretending that they know the chemical makeup of a object trillions upon trillions of miles away as if it's relevant, and money is being funneled to them instead of to you, which could actually get me a phone case that wouldn't slip out of my hands.
Okay, okay, sure, I get your point. Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels distant when people talk about that type of stuff. I personally don't see the necessity of that type of stuff, and that's why I wasn't ever interested in that part of chemistry, and that's why I never, when I was
Yeah, bro, that
deciding,
stuff that stuff has no necessity. I'll tell you. So here's the necessity of all of that
it
quote
does,
unquote research.
no, it definitely does
It
has.
don't, dude. It has zero.
No, no, no.
The only necessity it has is into backing up the materialistic, secularist, atheist worldview nonsense. That's the only
No,
thing that it's ever done for anybody.
you'd be surprised how much of research seems very meaningless and then it turns out to be really meaningful in the end. Like research isn't something that's like, okay, you study something for a few years and then okay, boom, you've discovered something that's like life changing and has really like in good applications in very many like different fields. It doesn't really work like that. How research works
Yeah,
is
fair enough. Well, let me ask you
very
this question, brother.
process.
Let's do some research. So, on the Earth, they've
Okay.
only dug down 8 miles approximately.
Okay.
So they weren't even accurate with their predictions of what they would discover for 8 miles deep on the actual Earth we're standing on. Yet they want to tell you what planets that are trillions of miles away are made of. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, it's very hard to imagine that be true, seeing how
Yeah,
like
no, it's not hard to imagine. It's hard that anybody takes it seriously.
no, it's very no, I get your point. It's not intuitive at all, but a lot of science isn't intuitive. Like there are a bunch of things that are intuitive.
No, it's not that it's not intuitive, dude. It's that they have no evidence for their claims.
I mean, I don't know if they do. I haven't really checked their papers. I'm not
Dude,
sure.
listen, friend, they couldn't even get right what is below the surface of the earth we're literally standing on, yet they want to tell you what other worlds that they have no tangible access to are made of. Are you kidding me, bro?
I mean, we can't get a lot of stuff on the earth, right? Like for example, you know how when you like you know how when you're going for a surgery, right, or when you go to the dentist, they inject you with something with lidocaine to like numb you to not feel anything. You know that, right? I assume you've had that happen already.
Yeah.
Uh, we don't know how that actually works. Like we don't actually know how lidocaine works, and I mean,
Exactly. So they don't know how lidocaine works on the
no, no,
earth and the
no,
interactions between the body and the chemicals
no.
and all of
My
that.
point is,
Yet they're going to tell you how the chemicals work on a world trillions of miles away. Like, get real, brother.
no. My point is there's a bunch of stuff we don't understand, but that doesn't mean it makes it any less true. Like we don't understand how lidocaine works, but it doesn't mean we're gonna stop using it. We don't understand the molecular like pathways and the whole signaling that goes on for that specific drug. Sure, we don't understand that, but that doesn't mean we're not gonna use it. Same with how we don't understand specifically what's in the earth, even though I don't know if we do. I haven't really seen a paper on that. I need to research that a little. But yeah, we probably don't understand that, but we understand something that's way more complex because it's probably easier to analyze because
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, I agree with you. So let's set the baseline. It's easier to analyze the composition, structure, mass distribution, and elements to the core of an object trillions of miles away that we can only see with light versus the actual composition of the Earth we're standing on. Do you realize how stupid that sounds?
It may sound stupid to someone that hasn't had any
It
training.
is stupid.
It may
It
sound
is
stupid
stupid.
that doesn't have any formal training in the field, but I'm telling you, I can understand the structure of something that's only a few electrons long, but at the same time, I couldn't really tell you how a car works, right? Like, it's something that's very hard to understand when you don't have any formal training in the field, and when you haven't really had any that much interaction with the field, like with science in general, from a very like formal
No,
standpoint.
dude. Often I find that I know more. So, for example, we had an astrophysicist in here
Cool,
specializing in discovering exoplanets, new planets.
right?
And he showed us an image of one of the things that he was doing, and it was basically like a 16 by 16 pixel grid where some pixels were in the bottom left corner and some pixels were in the upper right corner, and they had different intensity. And he was saying, oh, this is the host star, and this is the planet, and it's rotating like this, and it's made of this, and it has this mass. And I was like, how could you
Right.
know that from the 16 pixels? And he's like, oh, well, you take the way they're moving, you assume an elliptical orbit, then you apply the assumption of the gravitational model, right, of the ellipsi and the foci, and then you do all this math and blah, 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 blah. And I go, well, what's that math based on? Because all you see is these pixels and the scales. And so we went back through the cosmic distance ladder. This guy didn't even know the first rung of the cosmic distance ladder. Yet he's going to tell me that he can tell from 16 pixels that this is, 3 planets and this one is a star. I mean, get out of town,
No,
brother. Get
we,
out of town.
I'm not shocked. A lot of science is that. I can tell you, I don't know, what can I tell you right now? I could probably tell you right now, if you were to give me like a random solution, I could probably tell you what's in it just by looking at it. And it's not a lot of information, but to someone that has a lot of training in that field, you'd be able to do that. Like, if you were to give me right now, I don't know, just a few lines. Do you know what an NMR spectra is? Whatever, it's a thing in chemistry. If you
Endometriosis?
No, NMR spectra. It's something like whatever. It doesn't matter. If it's when you look at it, it's not. It looks weird. It doesn't look intuitive at all. It's just a bunch of lines on paper. When I look at that, I can tell you what molecule I have in front of me. I can tell you how the atoms are linked to one another, what the charges are on them, how the electrons are distributed. Stuff that's like at a molecular level. You don't see
Can
that,
you
but I can
can
tell.
you
I
do
can
it from
tell that.
16? Yeah, yeah. Cool. Can you do it from 16 billion miles away from the sample?
If I have the sample, it's a very different thing. In order to do an NMR, you need the
I
sample.
know. That's what AI is trying to tell you, is that they don't have
AI.
access to
Oh,
the
sorry.
sample that they claim they know the composition of.
I
They don't have access, and
can't,
they've never had access.
I can't. I don't know if I can give any truth to that claim because I haven't seen anything in relation to that. I need to see like a paper or something that says they didn't have a sample because I don't know how they do that.
Has
Like I just don't have any training in that field. I don't know how they personally measure
Oh,
the
dude, the only way for them to have a sample would be to have a vessel that can travel billions upon billions of miles and then return to bring it back to them. No such vessel exists. Okay, let's rest it right there. So they don't have a sample. Period. End of story.
So how did they determine like what how did they make their claims then? Like what's the basis of their claims?
Conjecture.
Like so you're telling me they just wrote a paper that says you guys we think it smells like sulfur because it looks like sulfur. Like is that it? Is that what they're saying? Like or we think it's gassy because it looks like gas or like what's I don't know like what's the claim they're making?
I think they use probably like reflection spectroscopy or oh, hold on, I have to look it up. For the Uranus smells like gas, it's something novel. Hold on.
Well, that before we go on, while you're looking that up, I just want to make sure everyone understands that when I first came up on that article. So here's the article. I'm just going to say it as I read it. Organizational name: Penis.
Wait, do you have it in front of you? Do you have
Just
to
hold on, brother. The organizational name was called Penis. It
no?
was an
Do you have,
acronym.
wait? Do you have
Hey, let me finish. Let me finish. You're
okay?
ruining my joke, dude. Holy crap.
Okay. Go.
Do I need a banner that says joke incoming, do not ruin?
Yeah.
Oh, now I had to say the word penis 2 times without any context because of you. Now I said it 3 times.
Say it
Holy
forward.
crap.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so the organization's name is PNAS, pronounced penis. And it says, from that organization, your anus smells like farts. So that's a joke that writes itself, brother.
Yeah, are you sure it isn't a joke? Like, where'd you find that?
No, they're deadly serious, dude. That organization actually has all kinds of literature that comes out. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it might be the P in the end stand for something, and the end might be
Wait, I'm gonna look them up.
astronomical sciences or something. I can't remember.
Wait, let me look them up on Google Scholar. Google Scholar. Cool.
Look, I posted a link to the paper. They use, it's called Near Infrared Integral Field Spectrometer.
Oh, is this the one detection of hydrogen sulfide above the clouds? That?
Yeah, the one I just posted.
Okay, perfect. Oh, wait. Okay,
No,
wait. I might actually be able to do something with this because this is chemistry. Hold on.
Now, if I remember right from the first time reading this, they claim they detected 0.3 parts per million of hydrogen sulfide.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the gas chromatograph spectrometer?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the sensitivity of that?
The sensitivity of what? Of what'd you say? Gas?
The
Sorry.
gas chromatograph spectrometer.
I mean, it really depends on what you're doing because you can select it usually, if I'm not mistaken. But I've no.
Well, you talked about nuclear resonance imaging
Yeah.
that you've seen.
That usually.
Yeah, so
no, but
that's not as precise as a gas chromatograph spectrometer. That doesn't.
No, but no. But NMR usually goes. So it depends on what nucleus you're analyzing, right? So if you're analyzing proton NMR, that you would usually go up to a 20, if I'm not mistaken, 20 ppm. Or if you're doing like carbon NMR, that can usually go to maybe 200.
20 now 20 ppm. They claim they're sub 1.3 from 16 billion miles away.
No, but ppm in this situation doesn't. It's a very different. Wait, let me look at this article.
How many different meanings are parts per million?
No, wait, let me look at this article. It depends. It means different stuff in different contexts.
No, it means parts per million, bro.
It means
it's
yes,
a ratio of a
true.
number. It's not subjective.
It is true. But when you're saying ppm in the context of NMR, that is related in the way in which, like, how do I explain this? Like basically, it's a coupling constant. That's what. Have you heard of coupling constants? Vicinal coupling.
Yes, I know what coupling constant are.
Oh, you do? Wait,
I graduated university like 20 years ago, bro. Okay.
Oh, really? Wait,
longer than that. 40 years ago. Holy shit, I'm old. 30 years ago.
What'd you study?
Computer science.
Oh, computer science. Oh, cool. Oh, they taught you that? That's okay. Cool.
Why wouldn't they teach me that? Is there a rule against it?
No. I mean, it's not. They don't usually teach NMR in a CS degree. That's usually.
I know a lot of shit about a lot of shit, bro. You'd be surprised.
Good for you. Okay, wait. Let me look at this. Indicate.
I am an endless store of useless information.
To represent evidence of your detection.
But gas chromatograph. The reason I know about it, because I did a deep dive research on crime scene investigations.
Oh, crime
some of the techniques they use. Yeah, so CSI type stuff and how garbage it is. Pretty garbage. But the point is, gas chromatograph spectrometry, at least at the time that this paper was published, had a sensitivity of 3 parts per million. That's when you have access to the sample. They're claiming 10 times an order of magnitude better than that from 16 billion miles away.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm not interested.
Why wouldn't I be skeptical of that? I'd be a fool not to be skeptical.
Wait, let me read it a little bit. I want to see.
You got to understand, there is no fact checking in astronomy.
Wait, let me see their discussion. If we could be sure.
Or astrophysics or anything in that field. It's just like they can literally say fucking anything.
How many citations does this have? Wait, metrics. Sorry. I mean, it's in Nature. It's good. 108. Yeah, sure. This is a good article. Okay. Which is
We need some elevator music.
Yeah. So analysis to model the observe.
No.
Now let's just listen. Did they make an observation, or did they just have a model that said it could be that? To model the observed spectra, we use the Nemesis nonlinear optimal estimator for multivariate spectral analysis retrieval model using the correlated K approximation with K tables generated from the monthly published KLMC at 8K went blind. So it's another published paper, right? So
hold on.
You do chemistry, right?
I'm not here to prove this article wrong.
Do you do chemistry?
Yeah.
Okay. So the techniques you use in chemistry are sound. Okay. The techniques they use in astronomy, astrophysics, cosmology, they are not sound.
Hold on, wait.
Because all they have is observation. Listen, you can actually, in chemistry, you can do the experiment because you physically have samples. Okay. Now imagine you published a chemistry paper and you looked across the room with a telescope at some bubbling fucking liquid on the other side, and then you started saying you know what the composition is and what the chemical reaction was based upon you looking at it, staring at it. That you'd never get published. That is fucking no chemist would ever take you seriously. You'd never get published. You'd probably freaking, I don't even know what. They would laugh. They'd be laughing forever. He fucking wrote a chemistry paper from the telescope, right? But they claim, but this is the difference between what you're doing and what astronomy doing. They claim they know causes. They claim they know the causes of effects. They claim that they know the chemical composition, how old it is, how hot it is, how far away it is. They claim that they can know all these things just by looking at light, which is crazy. That is a crazy claim.
Right.
And who's checking? The same fucking people that are making the crazy claims are checking the crazy claims.
Wait. For refraction, okay.
Like LIGO. You ever heard of LIGO? The gravity wave observatory? Yeah. You ever heard of LIGO, the gravity wave observatory?
LIGO?
LIGO. LIGO.
No, I haven't heard of that, no.
It detects gravity waves. Allegedly detected gravity waves.
I have not heard of that.
They claim that instrument can detect a displacement of their little measuring mass that is 1/1000th of a proton diameter. So if a proton in the mass moves 1/1000th of its diameter, they can measure that motion.
Yeah, I mean I'm not shocked with that. Yeah.
That's 1/1000th of a proton.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
A proton is 10 to the negative 37 meters.
I don't know the length of it, but yeah, it's really small.
Yeah, it's really small. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, it's really small. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Thanks,
definitely
dude.
small. Yeah, no, I don't know why you're laughing. It's definitely a small thing, yeah.
Well, they're saying they can measure some subdivision of that. What are they measuring that with?
We can measure a bunch of stuff. Like that's not shocking. I can measure, what can I measure? I can tell you, like, just again looking at something, shooting light at something very easy to do in practice. I can tell you how stuff is linked to another thing, like something that's like submolecular. You don't see on a microscope. You can't see that shit. But I can tell you that a carbon is bounded to this and that and that. Like I can tell you that just by shooting light.
I can get you to doubt your faith in light giving an accurate measurement right now. Watch. It's very simple. So when you take a laser transit methodology and you apply it to the surface of the Earth over 25 miles of water, you debunk the globe geometry by 2 orders of magnitude, proving the Earth is flat. Because if water's flat and it covers 70% of the Earth, ipso facto, the Earth is flat. Proven by laser measurement methodology.
Laser measurement. What specific laser measurement methodology?
Laser transit. You level a laser, right? Just like you do on a construction site, and then you put a storyboard on the other side and you get the differential, right? And if the Earth is a globe, it's going to be one thing, and if the Earth is flat, it's not going to be that thing. Guess what? It's been done, and it's not a globe.
Right. Do you have a paper for that?
Yeah, I got a documentary and an associated 120-page PDF leading up to the 25-mile shot.
No, man, I can't work with that. I can't work with that. Like, I will read a paper happily. I'll happily read a paper that's like well reviewed and like okay.
Well reviewed. What does that mean?
Sorry, peer reviewed. Is that better?
You know,
Okay,
most
so
peer reviewed.
No, but I can look at a paper. Look, the thing is, I can.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I agree with you, brother. So the first paper I'm going to give you to read that's peer reviewed, it's called the peer review crisis. Once you understand that, then we can move on.
I mean, I'm not going to doubt the peer reviewing system. That it's like central to the research I do. It's like
so you do realize that most citrus fruit. Why don't you know that most peer reviewed research is wrong? Why don't you know that?
Why don't I know that? Because it's not. That's the whole point of it. You make other people read it.
Most of it's wrong. Most of it, like 90% of it.
How can you prove that? I can know.
Indio, we got to be gracious. Indio, real quick. Got to be gracious because his field is actually a real science. And so he's thinking that the real science scrutiny that he does in his field applies to all these other pseudoscience fields, which is his error.
No, that's the thing. I can't. Again, I don't know a bunch of stuff about astrophysics. I'm not.
Go on Google, type in most peer-reviewed research wrong, and see what happens.
Is this the thing from PubMed?
Yeah.
Santa Dagas? Okay. This why most published. Okay, so this is an article. How many citations?
All right. So speaking of peer review, a guy, PhD in optics, Dr. John D. He came across this idea about using measurements of the Earth to determine whether it's globe or flat. So he used a dual band laser system and he reproduced the test. He didn't just review it; he reproduced it. And according to him, and he actually published it on YouTube, and you can watch it. He found that after accounting for everything and using his dual band laser, which he did for a reason, which is so that he could get the accurate refraction index because different wavelengths refract at different rates. And he basically concluded, after being a globe earther and applying his physics knowledge to measuring the Earth, that the Earth is indeed flat. It's not a globe after all, because just like the other laser test, the Earth measures flat.
And you said he's a science. You said he's a physicist?
Yeah, PhD specializing in optics. And not only that, but there's been numerous other tests. People have done it over 35 miles on land, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, I'd have a question.
You could do it.
Why do you choose to believe that certain physicists and not every other physicist? Like, don't you think that's cherry picking a little bit?
Because none of those other physicists did any tests.
So what would you consider a test to be then? Like, what would qualify as a test for you?
He just described it to you.
Yeah, okay, that's a type of test, but like it's not a test in general. You have multiple types of other tests. Like, why that test specifically is the only valid one?
Oh, because it's a direct measurement of the surface. That's why.
It's what?
It's directly measuring the surface.
Okay, so wait, is it measuring the surface, or is it measuring the curvature, or is it just like not measuring anything and just determining if a curve exists?
Yeah, dude, it's the same type of methodology that you use in building things when you want to make a level surface with a laser.
But like, yeah, but the point
you get the laser.
No, I get that.
You level the laser, and then you get the differentials between the parallelness of the beam and the surface. Right? Pretty standard method.
Wait, what is this? Sorry. Right, yeah, no, but I mean, like, but my question is, why do you believe this certain physicist, not every other one? Like, what makes this...
Because they haven't done anything. I already answered that.
But that's my question.
There's no contrary data, brother. Don't you understand? There's no contrary data that anybody's gathered to say, hey, this is wrong.
What do you mean? No, there is, though, because if there wouldn't be any contrary data...
Okay, then show us. Post it in the chat, dude.
No, I can't post anything in the chat. It's not like I have...
Of course, because it doesn't exist, dude. 6 years ago, we had a guy come in here with 3 PhDs that said, it stands to reason that because there's more globe earthers than flat earthers, there must be more globe earth laser tests. And as such, that means... And he went to go look. And now it's 6 years ago and he's never been back.
Look,
So,
I
listen.
just really want a paper about this test, specifically, like this globe test, like not a YouTube video or a documentary, because I'm not going to watch that. I just want a paper, like an article I can read. Like
I just posted one. These are the measurement results. Are you under the impression that peer review replicates the research?
No, I didn't say that. I've never said that.
Okay, then what is the point of peer review? What is the point of peer review? What is the point of peer review?
I don't get why you're being aggressive with me. If you're going to talk to me,
what is the point of peer review? Why can't you just answer? What is the point?
I'm not going to speak to you if you're going to be aggressive.
Listen. I want to know why you're appealing to peer review, because it seems very cowardly.
No, it's not. I don't think it's cowardly, but again, I don't want to.
It is cowardly because you don't want to address any evidence by just saying it's not peer reviewed. Should we post it in an open access journal and then just go put a flag up and say, hey, now we got something peer reviewed? So what? Then you'd say, hey, this isn't the right journal.
Are you going to let me speak now? Is it okay if I speak?
Yeah, you're just trying to make it impossible. You're just trying to make it impossible for us to present any evidence by having an impossible standard that can't be met.
No, I literally didn't say that. Okay, I'll accept a non-peer-reviewed article. If it's an article that's published somewhere...
Would you accept if you did it?
Published.
If I did it?
Define published. Hey, bro, define published.
We didn't define published in a journal, in a scientific journal. Is that good?
Does that make it correct?
I'm not saying it's correct. I'm just saying I want something.
Then what good is the peer review if it doesn't mean it's correct or not? Why are you using that as some gatekeeping device?
I never said that.
Why are you using it as a gatekeeping device?
We're published in a scientific journal.
No, here, let's do peer review.
Why do we need that, dude? I'm going to ask you like for the 10th time. Why is that important?
I'm not going to respond to you if you scream at me. I'm not going to do that.
Dude, then answer. You're not responding when I asked you
nicely. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm sorry.
Hold on, Citrus Fruit.
You didn't respond when I talked politely to you.
No, hold on, Citrus Fruit. I'm going to handle Indio real quick. I'm going to peer review whether he's yelling at you is justified. I reviewed it. Yes, his yelling is justified. Now that it's peer reviewed and published, you can accept it.
I don't get what you guys are acting like.
Can't you do the peer review?
Anything mean to you?
Yeah, listen.
No,
go ahead.
I'm really open to discussion. Like, I really want to talk to you guys. But if you're going to scream at me, we're not going to go.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, listen, brother. I'm going to ask you now for the 11th time. What is the importance of peer review? Why is it useful? Why does it need to be applied?
If I answer that, do you promise you're going to stop screaming at me?
Okay. I'm going to ask you for the 12th time. Peer review. Why is it important? Why do we need that? Why is it the arbitrary truth?
All right. I never said it's the arbitrary truth. First of all, peer review, yes, can sometimes go wrong. That is a fact. Some articles are peer-reviewed, but in those cases, sometimes it just doesn't work. That's why we also look at other parts of an article in order to evaluate its quality. Like, when you're looking at an article, the first thing that you look at is you look at the journal that it's published in, right? You look if it's peer-reviewed, you look at the number of citations, publishing date, and methods used. Why? Because that's the way in which you can assess an article.
Why? Why do we do this?
Sorry, to determine again, if you're going to be aggressive with me, I'm not going to talk. So, can you let me finish? Is that fine?
Yeah, I want you to tell us. I want you to justify why we should. Brother.
That's how I speak.
Brother. Okay. You know what I want, and you're being obtuse on purpose. Okay. It isn't going to work.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You know you're being obtuse. Yeah, we can hear you giggling. Don't mute me. I'm a mod. I'll ban you. Okay.
I'm not talking to the other guy.
I'm gonna ask you again. Why are we using peer review?
I'm sorry.
You're still just talking over me, so you don't have to listen. Is that your plan?
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna ask you again. I think this dude muted me. So
I think
he's
someone
going
said
on.
that this fee core thing is published somewhere, right? Is that?
Dude, unmute me, or just stay the way you are.
Hey, Citrus Fruit, we don't take kindly to people muting each other, because then you just talk while the other person's talking. Doesn't work. So unmute Indio, right? And then instead of being obtuse about answering his question, just give him a straightforward answer. And then you solved your problem. You can continue the convo. Plenty of people listening right now that are wondering why When asked, since you're supposedly the scientist, you can't just give a simple answer why peer review is necessary. And to say that peer review is necessary because the first thing I have to do to legitimize something is see if it's in a peer-reviewed journal, that's just circular reasoning. That's not answering the question. And for goodness sakes, and for the love of God, please just answer the question.
Yeah, we just want he's probably not even listening. We want a justification in case I'm going to assume I'm unmuted. We want a justification for using that as some step in the process. Why should we use it? What does it say about? Yeah, we know you can't talk. So why is it important? Jesus Christ. Now you're unmuted. Am I muted? Did you mute me?
No, you're not
Yes or
muted.
no?
It's fine. You're good.
Okay, so really simply, I'm going to state it kindly, and I'd like you to answer. Why are we using peer review? Why is that an arbiter of the truth? You know, peer review is a new invention. It's only been done since about the 1970s. Prior to that, there was no peer review. They didn't do peer review. Well, it's true.
Okay. And was that
If you want do you want the history of peer review and how it came about into the modern era? It was actually Ghislaine Maxwell's father, his name's Jordan Maxwell, that monopolized all the journals so that he could sell them to the government. And that's how he became a billionaire. He owned Elsevier.
Wait, so
Right.
is that
So that's a
okay?
whole nother story. The point
Cool.
is, peer review is a new thing, and what is its utility? I just gave you an article that said most peer-reviewed research is wrong. So if you are going to have some gatekeeping
No.
thing where I'm not going to consider it unless it's peer-reviewed, I'd like you to
It's not my
justify
thing.
that.
No. Again, I didn't say
Still
like
talking over me. I'm going to ask you what I just said to you, okay?
I won't be treated like a child. I'm sorry. Why are you treating?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you what I just said to you to make sure you just heard me. Well, I won't be interrupted rudely either.
You did that already to me multiple times, though.
I'm not going to be treated like a child, but I'm going to ask like a child. But you did it first.
I'm sorry. I don't.
Grow up, bro. Like seriously?
I didn't. I'm sorry. If you want.
Why are you laughing?
We can talk.
He's laughing because he's a child. He thought he's going to bullshit his way. You don't have a degree in goddamn anything. Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay.
To be fair, you're supposed to know this stuff because you said you appeal to it in your field, and so everyone's listening is hearing you not just answer the question.
You're a university student that thought you could bullshit your way through this, and you can't. Okay.
You want to
listen?
I can answer.
Yeah. So. Okay. So give us a justification
as to why we think peer review is important. Like why we
the justification on why you won't look at the research that we're providing to you because it's not peer reviewed. That justification.
First of all, I didn't say that. I'd happily look at anything that's not peer reviewed if it's an article. I just said I won't look at a fucking documentary because I don't have that time. That was my whole point. 1, 2, peer review is important. Yes, we look.
Why?
Because it's other scientists in your field reviewing your article. Like that's the whole thing.
That's not a why.
It's important though. It's important to have other experts in your field look at your
Yeah, that's your claim. Why? That you're just restating the same claim. I'm asking you why. The justification.
Because, for example, if you went wrong in your work, you can have someone else say, "Okay, you went wrong there. That's why what you're doing is wrong." Like it's someone else looking at your work over again and just like saying, "Okay, sure, that's where you went wrong. That's where you did good." Like that's it.
And what are they looking for?
They're usually looking at your methods. So your methods specifically, like what's most important? Is it coherent? Is it in line with your topic? Does it actually prove a point? And then they're also looking at other like minor.
Does it prove a point? Really?
Yeah, does it prove what you set out to prove? Yeah. Like if you have, does it prove what you're trying to prove?
First of all, science doesn't prove things. Okay.
It does though. Like that's the whole. Like that's how a research paper works. You have a title. And
so you graduated university, but never took philosophy 101.
Yeah, no, we don't do that where I live. We don't have philosophy classes and stuff.
You don't take philosophy 101? It's pretty much a required course in every university going back probably 200 years, if not 500.
Every science degree, as far as I know.
Not in France. I did my whole.
Oh, no
Not in
wonder, dude.
France.
Oh my goodness, there explains it all.
Yeah, no, I did.
Not in France. So they don't
No, you
have
don't do. You don't.
philosophy in university in France.
Yeah, no, you don't do philosophy on a STEM degree. You just do STEM courses.
So the starting point of Descartes' skepticism and all that crap, which led to the problem of induction, which is plagues every scientific endeavor. Somehow they don't teach that in France.
Yeah, they
I
don't.
just find that hard to believe.
You can look it up.
No.
I can give you the name
Okay.
of my
Well, science doesn't
university.
prove things. You can Google that too. Just type in "does science prove things?" No, it doesn't, because it uses induction, which contains the logical fallacy of affirming the consequent. Okay, so it doesn't prove things. It actually, most
Oh,
science, other than natural science, can't actually prove anything because it's theoretical. So you can have a
not all
hypothesis.
science is theoretical though. It's not all theoretical.
You
Like,
can't
yes,
eliminate alternate hypotheses, dude.
no,
This is
no,
the
but I
problem.
mean, you can't say science is theoretical. That's not true, though. You have stuff that is like actually practical. You can look at it and say that happened. Like, if I put a shit ton of ethanol over a bunch of cells, they're all gonna die. I can tell you,
Okay,
all
yeah,
the
but
cells died because
citrus
But
fruit, real quick, brother, real quick. You're making a classic mistake. And that is the mistake of I'm a scientist. I'm a real scientist doing real science with real tangible results, samples, and experiments. Therefore, other people who are called scientists are doing the same thing. That's not true. These astronomers and astrophysicists are not doing science, brother. That's what
again,
we're trying to tell you. They're making it up.
I don't think you're getting my point. I never said I'm trying to like say their work is good. What they did is correct. What they did is like the like complete truth. I never said that. We're just talking about science in general. Like, I'm not specifically trying to defend astrophysicists. I'm not trying to defend their work and say it's good. Like, I never said any of that. Uh, yeah, I guess this has just turned into a whole discussion about
okay,
my
so there's
thoughts.
two parts of okay, so you should know there's two parts of a published paper. There's the experiment, and then there's the explanation part, right? Why you
Um,
got that result. Now you can
not
you can
really,
do
but
your
sure.
chemistry experiment, right? And you can have no clue why that happened, and you can do it over and over and over and over again. And I agree with you. That's the actual science part. But the part they call science in modern day is the theory on the why that happened, right? The how and the why. And they come up with, mathematical models and, claim cause and effect relationships, yada, yada, yada. The peer reviewed part is only the explanation part. And they'll look at the experiment for sources of error, confounding variables, shit like that, right? Which is the actual only utility of the peer review process, is just like, hey, man, what is something maybe they didn't take into account? And what is the source of error? What are the starting assumptions? These types of things. That's all peer review does. But you don't
Not
need somebody else
really.
to tell you that. You can evaluate that for yourself.
Not really. Peer review doesn't. It's not peer review. Isn't people calculating like statistic constants on your paper? It's not really what they do.
No,
Like,
what I said is they'll evaluate the experiment, right? They'll go, what are the sources of error? What are some confounding variables? What are some variables that they left out for some reason, right?
yeah,
Did they apply the right statistical method for processing the data? Is the data over processed?
sure, yeah,
Do they
yeah,
have all these freaking floating parameters that they can just freaking move like little slider bars to fit whatever theory they have into the observation? So this
yeah,
is the stuff they
yeah,
review,
fair.
right? So this is the stuff they're reviewing, but this is a straightforward measurement. All we're doing is measuring something. Now anybody can evaluate the methodology of measuring. Hey, what was the equipment they used? What was the distance? What does the goal predict? What was measured? Like you don't need it's not a complicated thing. It's simply a measurement.
Right.
Right? You can, like, you go to the doctor's office, anybody in the doctor's office, the receptionist, the nurse, your doctor, can measure your height, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Wait. I don't think. What's your point? I don't get it.
Because we're just measuring something. We're just measuring the distance that a laser increases or does not increase from the surface of the earth. Because with distance, the further the laser goes along the surface of the earth, the farther away from the surface of the earth it should get. right? Because the Earth's supposed to be curving and the laser's going straight, right? So they should separate.
Can someone send me a link to what you're talking about, like the experiment thing? Maybe someone sent it already.
I'll show you. I'll show you a diagram so you can visualize it. Okay, how about that?
Yeah, or maybe that's like article or whatever you're talking about.
I already posted it a while ago.
Can you send it again? Because I can't.
Oh, shit. Wait, so look at this diagram, right?
Right.
See, as the laser goes along the surface of the Earth, it should increase in distance. And all you have to do is measure its height from the surface of the Earth to see if the distance is increasing along the height of the laser. Now, the globe model is going to make certain predictions. For instance, at 40 kilometers, a laser should be if you start at 2 meters above the surface of water and you shine a laser 40 kilometers, it should be 127 meters off the surface of the Earth. At the other end, 40 kilometers away.
Yeah. Wait, is this the...
Does that seem like a lot to you?
Wait, no, sorry, wait. I think I know what you're talking about. Is this the experiment they did like a while ago and the guys got proven wrong? Is that it?
No, not Netflix, dude. Come on, man.
Okay, like YouTube's any better? I'm sorry. Wait, no, is this... Wait, I think I found a video of it. The one where they put, like, they flashed light between two, like, boards with circles.
Holy crap. Hey, brother, hey, citrus fruit, real quick. Okay, laser, flashlight. One starts with L, one starts with F. So if you're bringing up something about a flashlight, it's not what we're talking about here.
Great. Thank you. I would have never known.
Okay. So this was done in the Netherlands, right? At Lake IJsselmeer. It was done. If you read the report, which I just posted.
Okay.
They had meteorological stations at both ends. They took all the weather data. They just did it once. They went back 3 weeks later and did it again. They have 5 measurement results, right? So they did horizontal pans of the laser. They did increasing distances. And the thing is, the globe makes certain predictions on how high the laser should be. The results here are not within the range of what the globe predicts. They're off by 2 orders of magnitude. It's not close. That's why we use this as an example, is because it's not close.
But who is this company, FECOR?
They were a nonprofit.
Okay, and who are they exactly? Like, who's?
Why does that matter? Why does that matter?
It's relevant.
That's a genetic fallacy. That the information is right or wrong based upon who it comes from.
I mean, don't you think that's straight up? But you're contradicting yourself, though. You're saying the articles.
What are you talking about?
You're saying the articles written by physicists are wrong because other physicists in the field review.
I never said that. I never said anything like that.
Yeah, that's bogus, brother.
I never said anything like that.
What was said is that some people.
I'm fully convinced now.
Check this out, brother. Check it out, Citrus. We said that some people are wrong because these measurements disprove their claims. Had nothing to do with who they are whatsoever.
No, but I'm sorry, but you're saying the results like scientists post on like in known journals, you're saying those are fake because they're posted by scientists.
No one said that. Why are you saying that again?
We were talking like a few minutes ago about how the data they found on Uranus is false. And now you're saying that the data posted by a company that's visibly like...
No, I didn't say it was false. I said there's no way it can possibly be true because we know that on Earth, the max precision that we can get from elemental analysis is 3 parts per million. Okay? And they're claiming an order of magnitude greater than that. Okay? Which is
what I'm looking at right now. Wait, I'll just show you guys what I'm looking at right now just so you... Oh, okay, wait, I can't share screen? Okay, fuck. That's awful.
Funny how you keep
address the laser, dude.
I can
before you address the laser, Citrus, it's just funny. Hold on, brother. Hold on.
I'm very down to talk.
No, I'm gonna point something out. I'm gonna point something out and I want you to reflect on it.
Go ahead.
Everything we have said is about particulars of the tools being used and the scope of their abilities. Where you keep bringing it back to the people. Why is it that you're so focused on the people and not the accuracy of the tools?
Because it's relevant. It's part of the scientific process. Like I can look at your data. I can look at your data and make like a conclusion based on it.
Yeah, but you're trying to look at their biography.
I'm just telling you.
You're trying to look at their biography, though.
The data can be skewed.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You're proposing.
Yeah, brother, you're not talking about
a certain conclusion that isn't necessarily true because the data in itself isn't true.
Yeah, but you're not talking about data. That's just a lie. You're talking about their biographical fucking information.
Because it's relevant. If I were to post a study...
No, it's not.
Their biographical information changes the test results.
You can't...
What if it's you and me that go and do this, Citrus?
Sorry.
Citrus, what if it's yourself and myself that go out and do this test? Is now it null and void because we're freaking nobodies?
No, if it was between me and you, sure, I'd believe that. But since it's something from the internet, I don't know who made it, I don't know the source, you have to analyze
Well,
that.
how about, instead of poisoning the well, you assess the information first, then get back to us?
Okay, sure, let's look at the information you're proposing. Let's look at this 121 slide thing. Cool. Okay.
It's in big type. I think you can read it quickly. There's lots of pictures. You can do it.
Yeah, there's a preface and initial data, and then there's 17 tests. So you can just skip to the end of the last test, and then you don't have to read all the previous 16.
Okay, they're using a camera and a telescope. Okay. Cool, closer distance, blah, blah. Measurement procedure, so...
All right, while you're reading that, just read to yourself calmly while I help the audience understand what the scientific method is. So, step one of the scientific method is establish who it is that's conducting the experiment. Until you establish that, you can't go any further.
It doesn't work like that. It's about the validity of stuff you're saying. You're saying they can't prove certain things, like in other papers, because maybe they have a different agenda, because they're paid by someone to do that research and like...
Dude, how long is that straw man bullshit you're gonna make?
It's not straw
Nobody
man.
said anything. That's the third time.
Okay.
The third time.
So does that mean you don't believe
Nobody
that?
said anything like what you're saying.
No,
not
so you don't
even
believe that,
remotely close.
So you
We
don't
did not
believe that,
appeal to who they are. We did not. We talked about their data and the instruments they're using and their methodology. Why are you over talking me? We talked about the There we go again. So with the instruments they use, their methodology, what they claim they measured is out of whack with what we know is possible terrestrially by an order of magnitude. They don't actually have a sample, and it's a model. It's a model of what the spectrum should look like instead of actual. Why are you constantly over talking, dude? What the fuck is your issue?
You've been over talking me multiple times, by the way. I don't get it.
So you're doing it for revenge?
Sorry?
Are you doing it for revenge then?
I'm sorry, what are we talking about?
You're a dishonest
No wonder it can't track India.
Let's go on mute, bro. Just fucking go on mute.
Dude, what we're talking about is that you can't get your head out of the fact that the personalities aren't relevant to the veracity of the data. The data is either true or false. And for some reason, you keep projecting that onto us as if that's what we're doing. But really, you're just admitting your epistemology is based on faith and personalities rather than the veracity of the data. I mean, that's my conclusion. I think that's pretty well founded based on what you keep saying. It's like you can't get away from it for some reason.
It's not a company, dude. You can try that again. It's a nonprofit. It was paid for by donations. Good try, though. So I already told you it was a nonprofit, Citrus Fruit, and so now why are you lying?
Oh, no, I'm done with this conversation. I'm sorry, I'm leaving. I'm just saying, if you guys are going to look at data...
Let me help you.
Look at it.
Let me help you.
Hold on. Listen, out of the kindness of my heart, I'm going to finish his sentence. So what I wanted to teach you guys is that if you're going to look up data, the most important thing you should do is verify who the person is and whether or not he cheated on his wife.
Seems legit.
How come it doesn't list what they had for breakfast in there? I want to know, because that's important. Because it's an important meal of the day.
Yes, it is the most important meal. And if they didn't have Wheaties and it's a high-performance experiment, they probably didn't do it because you got to eat your Wheaties. Oh, do you guys got Wheaties in Australia? Do you even know
I don't know if
that
they're
is?
the same thing or not.
Well, they always have athletes on the cover.
Wheat Bix, yeah.
Yeah, we got Wheaties. I always get a kick out of seeing the old Bruce Jenner ones when he was like a decathlon athlete. And he's like all buff, like with a javelin in his hand.
That must be worth a pretty penny.
I know, right? He's probably trying to buy them all and burn them.
You remember that clip where he was manhandling Ben Shapiro?
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was like, if you say that again, you're going to go home in an ambulance. And Ben Shapiro was like, "Oh, how very tolerant and peaceful of your view."
That's so funny, man. I forgot about that. Dude, he's huge too. Even as a woman, he's like a fucking beast.
Yeah.
Dude, like seriously, when I was a kid, dude, I thought that was like the coolest thing. I wasn't like when I was like 4 or 5, like I wasn't into like professional sports or anything like that, but the Olympics I thought was cool. And then he was like, the best because he could do it all, right?
Yep.
So anybody else catch the Shiva debacle?
Only the title.
Oh, dude, it was so bad. I mean, holy Jesus. First of all, McToon's in it. And right there, right off the rip. And he said he was banned from here, which is false. And he said there's a video on my channel showing me being banned. So I went and watched the video, and he clearly clicks the disconnect button. So after muting the entire room, so it's really funny, just to blame. Anyway, the point is that my God, dude, it is just like an embarrassment that this guy ever took. It isn't academia at all. He's an embarrassment, quite honestly. There's no way to even describe it. It was basically like a 3-on-1 global debate of 3 people telling the flat earther how he's stupid and how they need to do this. We have to do this experiment this other way. It's just so fucking. It's so bad. But
So it said on there.
Let up from go.
What was the title again? It was like flat versus round.
Flat versus round summit.
Summit. Yeah, flat versus round summit, applying the scientific method. So like right there, it's like, okay, how to apply the scientific method to just a measurement of a shape? I mean, good grief, dude. How much stupider could you be?
He said you have to express your hypothesis into a mathematical equation.
What the heck?
Yeah, bro. It's a freaking train wreck, bro. And he used the example of F equals ma.
Holy crap.
Yeah, dude. Dude, that's what I'm trying to tell you, man. It was so much worse than I thought.
So basically, dude, we should retitle this video "Examples of the Dunning-Kruger Effect."
Yeah, and his example was 2 competing hypotheses, F equals ma versus F equals ma squared. And it more closely fits F equals ma. Well, how did you get those variables? What did you measure to get any of those variables? The values, to know if it fits in the first place. How'd you measure the mass? How'd you measure the force? Acceleration seems straightforward. But then you would need to know what are the other 2 variables. Well, where'd those come from?
Just read the first comment. These people are retarded.
It was so much worse than what I thought. I was actually in the chat for a while.
It's like the first comment. I caught the live event. It was such a rich exchange, teaching and learning.
He kept saying the flat earthers, he has to teach him like he's in kindergarten. So the person that was the flat earther, I think it was Kevin Samuels. That's his name. He's not a native English speaker, so he's talking like him. But you can tell that he's having trouble speaking because he's not a native English speaker. And Shiva kept saying, "Do I have to explain it to you like you're in kindergarten?" He said that. He said that like 6 or 7 times, and that was like very irritating to me because it was obvious he was having troubles not only expressing himself, but understanding what was being said because he doesn't speak English. Which begs the question, why was he involved in that anyway? And where were the other flat earthers? And I thought they were all supposed to fly out and go in a conference room and write it all on a whiteboard. And like everything he said would happen, none of that shit happened. There was 3 Glovers, because I'm counting him as a Glover. There was McToon, another anti-flat earther that did radio, so some sort of a, he did radio, some sort of radio stuff in the military. And Shiva, the dude that was McToon, just sat there doing nothing. The radio guy kept talking about, well, there's no mirages in radio waves, and if the Earth was flat, there'd be no radar horizon, and so it's basically almost like a debate. It was almost like a flat Earth, one flat earther with broken English versus 3 anti-flat earthers debate, more than actually collaborating to get some freaking test done. But the radio guy just kept saying shit which is just blatantly wrong. Oh, water doesn't really have an effect on UHF. You could just like Google it, dude. Water is like the only thing that affects VHF, which is crazy, dude, that this guy's saying that shit. Water increases the absorption and attenuation of VHF, and he said the exact opposite of that, and claiming he's an expert in radio. UHF, rather. He said there'd be no radar horizon on the flat Earth. Oh, yeah. None at all. Just go forever. It was bad. It was bad, dude. If you value your like literally, it's like puke in your mouth level bad.
Dude, I posted, why would anyone need the scientific method to simply measure a shape of an object? Perhaps we need a summit on teaching how to measure for children. Holy crap.
Yeah, and they're butchering like they didn't, what were they saying? They were like, instead of using the term for the imprecision of a measurement, like the uncertainty of a measurement, they were using a completely different word. And Shiva was using it too, and I'm like, how the frick did this guy get into like in the university? It's called, there's 2 measurement things, right? There's the precision of the measurement, and then there's the uncertainty of the measurement result, which would be a bounded range. They were calling it something completely freaking different. And I'm like, man, but this guy, he's an MIT graduate with freaking 3 degrees or whatever. Like, why doesn't he correct them and tell them, these are the anti-flat earthers, mind you, and correct them and tell them they're like using like the wrong terminology. Like it was just, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It was so much worse than I thought. This guy is like, no matter how bad I think it is, this dude's like going down fast, in my opinion of him. Like fast.
He might have to have a special meeting with his employer.
He is his own employer. He's got a lot of grips going, I found out. He's got a lot of like donate to this and donate to that and donate to this other thing. And I'm sure he it's a legitimate employment thing in Massachusetts to start a nonprofit, make yourself the head administrator, and pay yourself basically the proceeds of that nonprofit administering the penny that's left.
Yeah. There's one corporate structure, which I don't know if it applies to nonprofit, where you as the owner are entitled to 10%, and then after that, the remaining 90% is then considered the shares. So what was one of their ideas?
I think the Globetards want to do another sun observation, which is I don't even know, like predict where the sun is based upon some model, but they're so stupid. And I've told McToon this already. That in like another thing where he starts some shit in an X thread and then bails on it. That they don't use a globe model to predict where the sun is. So that will be quite a litmus test to Shiva's veracity, quite honestly. Because if he doesn't look at the math and see, hey, in the math, there's no globe model, there's no globe in there, then it's not a globe, and that it's not actually a globe prediction. Then that what this dude was proposing, and he said it wasn't even his idea. It was to get the elevation of an airplane when it's coming down on its glide slope at 20 kilometers away and making a elevation prediction, flat Earth versus globe prediction, which is convoluted, and they didn't like that one. And the reason they gave is because the radar measures the arc length, or the radar measures the straight line distance, but it's supposed to be the arc length. And so basically, the radio guy was coming up with all these reasons why you can't do it. One of them being the imprecision of the measurement, that it was accurate to it was only accurate to within like 0.6 of a kilometer or something. I mean, that was for the distance, but that the difference in drop would be 20 meters. And then he was like, "Hey, you can just do it farther." And then they're like, "No." Then she would just literally just shut that down as soon as he said farther. He just shut that shit fucking down right away. And of course, the other guy. And so the whole time she was lecturing this dude Kevin Samuels. Like the whole time he was lecturing them. But when the Goldbergs can say any fucking stupid thing they want, and he doesn't say a goddamn word to them, he actually lectured. Well, where'd you get that from? You have to see. You have to give us citations. So in science, we give citations. When the Glober right before him, just spouted a whole bunch of nonsense claims, and he did not demand a single fucking citation for any of that shit. Anyway, that's not the point. So they were like, okay, well, you could use UHF in a freaking airplane and get a receiver at some lighthouse far away. And if the Earth's a globe, there'll be a radar horizon where you won't be able to pick up the UHF signal. But on a flat Earth, there'll be no radar horizon. And so then they started arguing about that. Well, we don't. If this is kind of like the seeing too far thing. This is what the Glober said. This is kind of like the seeing too far thing. But there's no mirages in radar. Yeah, there is. Fucking simple Google search. Yeah, there is. They're not visible mirages. They're just not quality, but the same effects, right? The reflection, right? So the radio waves will reflect. You'll get multipath interference. All these things, all these problems with UHF that you'd have, that you would have a flat Earth radio horizon. And he even said, he's like, well, sometimes the radio horizon is real far away, and that's ducting. That's ducting around the globe, right? So he already made it so that no flat Earth observation can disprove the globe, because he can say, well, it's ducting. It's ducting for fucking 500 miles. So, you can't, dude, it's such, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, kind of have to see it for yourself. I don't recommend it, but
right.
It's pathetic.
It sounds like ducting is what he had to do to pass MIT.
This is like, they had two Globers. They had McToon and some guy, he worked in radar, or not radar, but radio transmission in the military, or as a hobbyist or something like that. I can't remember exactly what his um background was. But he's clearly an anti-flat earther, and clearly knew what he was talking about to a degree, but he was making claims that are just baloney, dude. That you literally can just Google and see that his claims were just baloney. Like I said, the water absorption, the attenuation, the lack of mirages, the no radar horizon on a flat Earth, just all sorts of crap. And then after he did all that of going back and forth, now Shiva's buying this supposedly as if he probably is buying it. Well, I brought this guy here, and he's an expert in the field, and why don't you just go with his experiment? Why, like, because they poo-pooed the one he wanted to do with the plane glide slope, and then he's trying to go with and then he's trying to push his lighthouse experiment, and then Shiva's trying to push that on him, right? Based upon all these other things, but like I said, right at the end, he says, "Well, sometimes the radar horizons far, and then you have ducting because of a temperature inversion." Well, you just said you're supposed to be doing an experiment that's the positive flat or globe, and then you just eliminated the globe as being falsifiable by this experiment by saying, in some instances, there's no radar horizon, right? And that's ducting. So if you have a no radar horizon, it's not a flat Earth, it's ducting. And if there is a radar horizon, it's not absorption or attenuation, it's a globe. It's so scummy. I don't even know it. I'm sorry. I'm ranting. It was irritating to watch that shit.
Hey, when they were talking about the glide slope, I mean, somebody could have just said, "Hey, how about we just get the pre-fusion algorithm Adiru rotational attitude data?" Yeah, for you Globers
Then
out there who don't know what I just said, supposedly there's a system on the plane that measures the reference frame of the plane relative to the Earth and its initial attitude and its flight, and it would prove that it would be rotating or not rotating as it travels in an arc or over a flat, parallel line to the Earth. So supposedly that already exists in the airplane's subsystems, and if you just can get that pre-algorithm, you'd have some data that might be useful. Too bad they hide it and then put an algorithm on it and then make it to where you can't tell what's really going on. And so the end result, the end data of the plane, this is their own language. The plane recognizes it as a static reference shift rather than a dynamic rotation. So that means that the plane is fully capable of flying exactly congruent with flying over a flat Earth. So the data is 100% congruent with a flat Earth and shows absolutely no curvature whatsoever. Man, they should have had Wolfie 6020 on. He would have set him straight. He said, "Hey, it's all in the black box, brother." Yeah, we all know it isn't in there, though. That's the
why not just
problem.
have Will Duffy? I want to know how McEwen fucking weasels his way into everything. Fucking everything, dude. When Witsit
Coordinators.
went on Infowars, the Harrison guys, that dude Harrison said that McToon was fucking like in his DMs, like blowing his shit up, sending him fucking emails. He like weasels his way into freaking everything.
Yeah. You know what's funny, dude, is remember back when McToon debated Brian's logic? Part of it was, I think they were talking about some of the aircraft data. Supposedly, he was personally invited by Duffy to debate McToon. But yeah, they all work together. And wasn't it McDuffie that was on McToon where he lied about not knowing him?
Yep.
Yeah, that's not suspicious.
Maybe they all have the same agent.
Well, I just told you, dude. The dude's a blatant liar, dude. You can go look
Satan?
in that video. Look in the chat. He says multiple times that he was banned from the server. He's not banned now. He's never been banned, ever, since the server opened. It said you can go look at it on the live stream, and it clearly shows him disconnecting from the VC because he couldn't answer a question about where he got the distance to the sun. Meme was asking him, where'd you get the distance from the sun? So what he does is he goes on mute, tells his audience, oh, they measured it with radar, blah, 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 and then he disconnects from the VC. So he muted the VC, our VC that he was in, to monologue to his audience, and then disconnects. And claims he's banned, which is a lie. Never was banned.
All right, listen, I'm back from the future, and McToon has a public announcement that although it may appear that that's what happened, he was actually hacked by the expert flat Earth hackers to make it look like he was lying. It's funny how you can just make up excuses after the fact to explain anything away, kind of like their stupid globe. Unfalsifiable gibberish.